Hello and welcome. You may be wondering how you got here. You may be questioning your choice of podcast. In this series, you will hear a variety of stories that may or may not be fact or fiction. Welcome to the Simdicate Files. All right, so today's topic, your favorite vehicles, gas and or electric. Well, I know somebody that's really big into electric vehicles. Let's start with Gargoyle.
Well, for me, when it comes down to gas versus electric, it all depends on the application. If you're, weekend warrior type of thing, you're not going to go out for long distances. I'd say definitely get an electric for in town. But if you're going to be doing a lot of heavy towing, those type of things, I would say, like camping long distances, it's not like they have AMA that comes out with a battery to fill these vehicles up if you run out of juice, right? So, it's to me, it's more of the application of the vehicle, whether I'd go with gasoline or electric. But overall, for me, I love electrics. They're quiet, they're super zippy off the line, they're being limited in speeds in that, so they are safer, so you don't get the yahoos doing 300 mile an hour on the highways. 180 mile an hour is good enough for me. Other than that, though, I love the new stylings that all these electric cars have. The extra space. You got the boot and the bonnet now. Where you got all that extra space. I mean, Ford, that their new Mach-E, I think they have it so you can put a cooler in the front with ice and all that type stuff with a drain plug. So I like the idea of electrics coming through. A lot of people are like, oh, because of the climate change, and yeah, like no, just overall efficiency. You're not spending so much on gas. In the end, your insurance rates are going to go down. The only problem with that, though, is that we got to figure out in accidents fire suppression. These lithium batteries, when they go up, there's no stopping them until they're burned out.
Right.
But for me, if I were to be able to get an electric vehicle, I would love to have, something like a Model S for running around in town, going out, to visit my folks, that type of things. For camping in that, really, being up here in Canada, I'm not all that too far away from like campgrounds that I wouldn't be able to, go out there and drive to a campground and come back. Like the Cybertruck for me would be perfect, especially now with the. I saw that there's another company putting out like some Cyberlander, I think it's called. It's a type of trailer camper type thing that literally is like a pop up. All hard sides and everything, solar panels and that on there as well. It all feeds off the electricity of the truck. I mean, as long as you can go plug in at a campsite, if you go to any regular one, not bush camping or anything, but go into like any of the provincial or national, federal parks, whatever you want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
you can usually get like 110 volts on there. I mean, and that'll save your bacon. You can get yourself up there if you're out there for 3 or 4 days. That'll get you the extra 80 kilometers or miles, whatever it is that you can get off the 110 to get yourself back home or to a supercharger or a destination charger, that type of thing.
Okay. Deuce, do you have any thoughts on electric vehicles?
So just real quick to add on what Gargle said, I just checked out Cyberlander because I didn't realize it was a separate company. I thought it was something that Tesla was doing as well for the pop-up thing. Cyberlander is actually a product of StreamIt Incorporated. I have no idea what that is, but I'm on their website right now. It's
Uh,
totally different
they're
company. So
Yeah, StreamIt is a subsidiary of another company that created all the software for inside the buses. So
oh, okay,
you can
okay,
take
cool.
a camera and, anybody who's carrying a weapon or, they can see that the driver's starting to feel tired, stuff like that. And it's all in real time. So it's a really good innovative company for sure.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have enough. I don't do enough research on vehicles to know that is it actually more efficient to the economy? Because that's the push for electric vehicles. And
Right.
you look at what it takes to build the batteries and get all the stuff. It's like, is it in the long run really more effective?
Uh,
Probably is. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I haven't done enough research into it. So I mean, all I will say is that it wouldn't hurt my feelings to charge my vehicle at my house and then be able to drive 200, 300 miles because that's about all my truck gets anyway. So it
mhm,
gets 250,
mhm.
300 miles a gallon. I mean, tank. So I mean, it's like, you know, would it hurt my feelings to tack on my electric bill a little bit, pay a little bit extra for the vehicles to not have to buy fuel anymore? Probably not. But it's not because of the economy. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Well,
it's not because of the ecosystem. It's because of the economy more than anything. So
Well, if you want to
Like,
look at it from health standpoints, look at all the school buses. How many kids are being taken to school in diesel buses? That's a lot of fumes that those kids inhale every day. If we had electric buses, now they got power backups. If the power ever goes down in the school, they can just plug their bus in.
yeah, but I mean, we've been doing that for 50 years though. Like, I went to school on a school bus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine, right? I can read.
Sometimes.
But I mean, honestly though, like one of the biggest cancer causing elements is diesel fuel and diesel fumes, right? From my understanding of just the research done of truck drivers in the U.S., right, is they come in contact with diesel fuel more often. They're more likely to end up with some type of cancer, right?
Yep.
Like it's because they come in contact with diesel fuel so often. So, is it safer? Probably. You know, what I mean, again, I don't know. I don't have enough. I don't have enough knowledge on the subject, but like you, Mike, for our first one, I'm really ill prepared. I didn't do my homework for this at all. Um, for the argument of electric versus gas, I will say this: I like my gas vehicle, but only because there hasn't been a pickup made that would do what my gas vehicle does, and now there has been. I just don't have the money to
Well,
buy it. So,
is there? I don't think Rivian's got them out on the road. Cybertruck is not expected. Well, it was like what 2021 summer. Now it might be 2022 spring.
for the general public, yes. For the people that first pre-ordered, yes, it's
Hmm.
pushed back. But there are already a few out there. So I saw a picture or actually a video clip on Twitter about 20 minutes ago. Actually, it completely unrelated to us discussing this for the podcast. I was just looking through Twitter. Somebody posted one of the Cybertrucks roaming around New York, and he was driving by. So
Oh, nice.
yep. So I mean, they're coming out, but they're not out.
Mm.
So yeah, as far as I know, I don't know the actual expected delivery date, but um, yeah. I mean, again, I don't have enough information on the topic. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know much about electric vehicles because I don't follow them. I prefer my loud, high horsepower gasoline engines. The way I look at it, if it can't do a burnout, it's not worth having.
American muscle.
You got any thoughts or processes on this one, Bone?
All right. Well, I live near the Motor City, where gas is everything. But I gotta tell you, prepare yourself. Electric is coming. Um, being doing the work that I do, I get to see a lot of the future vehicles and stuff like that. Um, your bus issue that you talked about, Cummins is making a totally electric engine
Mhm.
to go on all the buses, and it's sweet. I gotta tell you, it's sweet. Um, it's probably still a couple years out, but yeah, it's it's going to be nice. Um, as far as like personal vehicle, um, I know everyone talks about Tesla, but let me tell you, look at a company called Rivian. If you don't know anything about them, they're coming up with some nice electric vehicles.
Yeah, the R1TS or whatever it is there.
And
They look real nice.
yeah, um, they're doing all kinds of nice things for the storage things and stuff like that that you guys talked about earlier. Um, and they're trying to push their batteries even more instead of the standard. I think I want to say the standard is about 300 miles right now for a standard battery. Um, they have packages that you can get that doubles that. So you want to go 600 miles on a single charge? Boom, it's there. You look at Europe, um, most of their semis, that they call semis over there, they're all electric.
Mhm.
Volvo is um, big over there, and they're all electric.
I knew
And
Volvo was one of the first to go electric,
Mm-hmm.
right?
yeah,
Mhm.
Like first
and
companies to really adapt it for trucking.
yeah, and they're. I mean, if they can do it over there, hauling their freight in electric semis, it's coming over here. Now, I mean,
Their
without getting
distances between cities is a lot smaller than ours, but at the same time, though, You just need more chargers, which gives the drivers more opportunities to have a mandatory break. And
Right.
I can't
Well,
see anything wrong with that at
I
all.
mean, in the America, and I'm sure it's similar in Canada. Um, the whole infrastructure would need to change in order to do this.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I mean, I drive 100 miles every day, 50 miles to work, 50 miles home. Now, granted, on a single tank, yes, on a single charge, I could drive back and forth. But one of the things that like Tesla has an issue with is environment. Well, I live in the north.
Oh, they
Uh,
got over that. That it
not,
turned out
not
the caps were too thin walled on the tops of their batteries, so they
here.
doubled up on the size, and they're working really good here now in Canada for the last
It's
8
about
months.
the cold, right, affecting the
Yes,
battery.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. They've also changed their heating packs and that, but all these other car manufacturers at this time still have to go through those bumps too. So,
Well, I
you
know,
know, the
I
the
understand.
next Chevy and all that's going to have probably the same issues and that as well, because we're cold up here for 8 months of the year. I mean, same with you up in Michigan. I mean, you
Uh-huh.
got to have at least 6 months of winters. I mean, if we have
Yep.
8, you got to have at least 6.
And then the other 6 is road construction.
Yeah.
But without getting too political, um, big oil is going to slow this down as much as they can.
For
Oh
sure.
yeah,
For
tons of
sure.
lobbyist
Um,
dollars are going to go through all that.
right.
Definitely. Yeah, they're
Now,
going to
okay,
petition
and
everything.
because okay, let's say we're not using less, we're using less gas or less fuel, so the refineries have to work less. Okay, that means we're using more electric, which means the power plants need to work more. There's going to be a fine line where something is going to be breaking or near breaking, because I mean, you look at today's world right now, we're using more electronics than we ever have before,
hmm And it's only going to get greater and
and
greater.
it's going to
Hmm.
get greater and greater.
Neuralink.
Yep.
We're gonna have to figure out a way to do this. Like I said though in the opening, it's coming,
Oh yeah.
and there is a lot of great electronic or electric car manufacturers out there.
The
Yeah.
next big billionaire is going to be the first billionaire that electrifies all of North America.
Exactly, and
Well, I mean, how do
I
you
don't.
do that though?
You start with a small fortune to create a great fortune.
Well, no, I
Unfortunately,
don't mean how to become a billionaire. I mean, like, if I'd have bought Dogecoin 5 years ago, if I'd have put $1,000 in it, I'd be a millionaire today. So, I mean, like,
well, he'd be
there are
closer
chances you
to
could take, but
100
I,
millionaire.
I mean, it's one of those things though. Um, like I agree with Bone. Like, I don't see any reason why it's not coming. But how do we power that? I think that's when you
I
talk
think
about political. I think that's where the politics get into it. But I don't think it should be. I think it should be more social, right?
I
It
think
should be
it's
the
going to
people.
happen. It's going to happen in the cities. I don't think it's going to get into the rural areas.
Oh,
Like
yeah, like up here
where
in
I live,
Canada.
where I live now. No, I don't. It's not going to happen. Everyone up here is still going to use fuel. Like I mean, I live in farm country too. No, the farmers aren't switching over to electric tractors. They're
I mean,
they're
you
going
say
to.
that, but it could be. It could be good
It
for
could
them.
be, but I mean, they need the horsepower.
And there
I've,
may
Yep.
there may be a day it comes to
It's
where
going
they
to be a
have to switch.
long time away.
look,
Yeah.
It's a long
I've
time
seen
away.
Matthew McConaughey as a farmer. I know how this turns out.
Okay.
Really confusing, but
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
um,
Exactly.
but I mean, what do you think we could do to make it more beneficial? I mean, do you honestly think that solar panels and wind power is going to get us there? Because everything's going electric.
No.
I don't think that's going to get us there.
Wind turbines are not that efficient. They cost a lot because of the maintenance required on the turbines.
And they
So-
self-destruct in high winds. There's
yeah.
a lot of zones that they just can't go into.
And all the
So-
I
oil
mean,
that runs
what
through
about the
them.
amount of oil? Yeah.
Yeah, solar panels are. I mean, just the amount of everything that you need, and to make it even worth it, it's hard. I mean, I do believe alternative energy is the way of the future. It's
Would you
just
say
fine.
nuclear?
I mean, hey, Star Trek can do it.
I mean, we've proven that nuclear power plants, right? I mean, again, we have Chernobyl, right? There's been disasters. It's in Japan. It's happened, right? There's
Mhm.
no doubt.
well, I mean,
But
you take the U.S. Navy.
I
for
was going to
instance.
say.
They have
No,
multiple carriers that are nuclear power.
Submarines.
They don't
nuclear
have to
power.
get refueled for 30 years.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like that would be the way to go, right? In my opinion.
You'd have
But I
to
mean, I don't.
find, yeah, you'd have to find so many safety things. Because I mean, just imagine a car accident.
Well, no, not nuclear power for the car. Nuclear power to power the cars, to charge the cars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nuclear power
Yeah.
for their grid. Like, I know we already have them, but we don't have enough nuclear power in the world to power everything that needs electronics. So,
Right.
Nope.
but we should have. It
But
should
there's
be.
zones and such, right? Like, I mean, honestly,
Well, with
you
that
don't want it
though,
in California because of the earthquakes. But I mean, no offense to Arizona or anything, but they got a whole hell of a lot of deserts that could have a whole lot of giga-sized, nuclear facilities. Now, should a terrorist come in and decide to blow one up, it'd probably take out a chain of them.
What about the
But-
UFOs? Where will they land?
well,
Yeah.
That's true.
Where are
problem
they going
with
to
the-
crash?
That's
land
another
into the
podcast.
nearest nuclear plant?
It's a whole nother podcast.
The problem with the nuclear though is the waste.
Mhm.
It's radioactive waste that is
Mhm.
contaminated for hundreds of years.
Well, I mean, so
Thousands.
there's a
Half-life
couple
is
of
thousands.
there's a couple of space exploration companies out there that could solve that problem.
Just dump it into space.
Just fire it out and let it go, man. Just let it go to wherever. Because I mean, we're never going to know it. We're never going to see it. Nobody else is out there, so it doesn't matter. But they
And
are.
with the way that,
Are you
the
sure
way
about
that we're
that?
going with reusable, landing and everything else, getting stuff out to space. I mean, basically, SpaceX is the trucking company for low Earth orbit at this point.
Right. Oh, I mean, Blue Origin could be, but I mean, I've yet to see Blue Origin launch
Who-
10
who-
rockets,
who's-
and
Who's
know.
going to pay for all this though? That's
Well, I mean,
that's what's going to come
They would
down
have to
to.
tax it.
that's. I mean, you
have
can
to
only
tax it.
you can only tax so much, though, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if
I
you
mean,
if you
we already
take
get-
60% of people's income, they don't have anything to live on,
Yeah,
and then
we
you
already
have to
get
pay
taxed
them more,
on
and then
I'm
you
talking
know,
about the actual electricity itself. So, if you're using 200 kilowatts a month,
I already get
to
taxed on
power
that.
everything.
right.
Yeah.
We're already taxed on that.
Yeah, we're taxed
mean,
on the taxes we pay here in America.
Right.
Yeah, and that's already just to maintain the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you make money, right? If you make an income, you pay taxes on that income.
Yep.
And then
You
you
buy
go
gas,
buy a
it's
candy
over
bar.
65% tax.
Well, our tax is built in. I don't even know what it is, honestly. So
Canada is higher. That's why a lot of people from Canada come over to the United States to buy gas, and then they go.
Oh man, yeah.
Makes
If I
smart.
was an hour and a
That's
half
smart.
closer to the border, I'd be all over that. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Your price of gas is 6 times cheaper than ours.
Well,
And
it's
we produce
also-
this stuff.
3 gallons is a liter, right? Or 2.8, whatever it is. I don't know the conversion. Is that right?
A gallon is 3.86, I believe.
3.86
liters.
liters.
Yeah.
So you're
and we
paying-
pay $1.89 per liter. So you're looking at basically over almost $5 per gallon.
Right. So I'm paying 279
Mhm.
roughly. The
So
last time I got gas, it was like a month ago. So I don't know.
I'll say it's 269 around where I'm at now.
That's not
it's
bad.
it's
Lucky
higher
bastards.
for me.
It's
Yeah,
a lot higher
yeah.
than it was 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
And I'm sure it's the same way in Canada, though, right? It's territorial, right? So it depends on what area of the country you're in.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
gas
yeah.
prices,
I mean,
yeah. So I mean, it's
yeah.
the same. Yeah, it's the same. Like it's cheaper here than it is in California. For God's sakes.
Oh, yeah.
I
California's
live in
high,
the
so-
province with the cheapest gas because we
Right.
do all the producing. We do all, we right from the ground right through into the tank. That's what we do here in the province of Alberta.
right.
And then
Well,
we ship
Mississippi
it by
is like
pipeline or truck everywhere else.
Mississippi is like the oopsie kid. We just get looked after. So
Yep.
it's like it's like we don't really produce anything except music and football players and talk show hosts. So a lot of famous people from Mississippi that a lot of people don't know they're from Mississippi. So the best voice in the world came from Mississippi. People, he owns a blues club here. Morgan Freeman. A lot of people don't know that either for some reason. Oh, that's weird. Big fans of Morgan Freeman should know that. Anyway, tangents. But yeah, I was just wondering, like, because I mean, we know it's coming, and I don't know enough about it to say what Bones said, but I can see that it's coming, right? Like I'm not blind to the topic. I don't know enough about the specifics of it to go, this is what we should be doing. I can go,
Mhm.
could we do this? That's all I can do. So I'm just asking questions.
Well, I mean, and with renewable power too, we need a place to store it. There's not enough lithium in the planet to be able to store all that power, so you have to then go over to gravity feeds and whether it be water to concrete towers, things like that you push all the excess into, during the daytime and all that, and then when the sun goes down, now then the pulleys or the water flows through to start the turbines and everything else. Whereas with nuclear, it's on demand. You drop a couple more rods in, during peak times.
Right.
I
mean-
mean, in a way, I really don't like the idea of nuclear because of, like Bone says, the waste and human error. But
I think human
overall,
error's
in the
come a
big
long way,
picture,
though.
oh yeah,
Like,
we have so many
because
safety checks and everything with computers now, like, in
yeah, I was
comparison
about to
to
say
what
it's not
Chernobyl had.
even human. It's AI at this point. Like
Mhm. But
AI is
AI
another
is
topic for
fallible.
another podcast
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
because we could
I
do
mean,
I could do 2 hours on AI. I'm terrified of it.
it only takes a government to put in, a simple program that, everything reads right on your computer, like, okay, yep, Joe Blow here, he's had, 6 years engineering, but he's not the guy that's down there looking at the actual meter going, why is this reading higher when the computer says upstairs that it's not?
Right.
That's,
Yep.
some foreign country just put a virus into whatever particular element, and, your computer's reading one thing, and then,
Yep.
let's see.
But yeah, I don't know how we get to the point Bone was talking about was, like how do we get there feasibly without causing more destruction to the environment? Because I mean,
Mhm.
lithium mining is not the cleanest either. So
No, they do need to become a lot more efficient in the batteries and that with the amount of lithium and stuff that they got to put in. I
right,
mean, who
which I do
knows?
know
Yeah,
that
it could be
the
the next
companies are working on
16-year-old
that
kid.
too.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
it could be.
solid
Yeah.
state batteries and such like that. I mean, that's the next step, I believe, is solid state batteries. And then eventually, at some point in time, years in the future, I'm really hoping that we figure out some sort of 0 point, to be able to use the energy of the universe type deal to be able to take care of it. But I mean, that's a whole bunch of Einsteins and Tesla genius
mean,
people getting together to come up with, how
I
that
was
would
gonna
work.
say Wardenclyffe was probably one of the greatest things that could have changed the entire world.
Yeah,
Right.
it's been covered up. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go that far with it in this conversation. Again, we could do a Tesla, like a whole Tesla
We could do
podcast,
a
and I'm
whole
in. I'm
Tesla
in. I'm in.
conspiracy,
I
sir.
promise you, I will. I will do it. Don't tempt me. But in all seriousness, though, like the way he was talking about producing power at Wardenclyffe was brilliant.
Yeah, pulling the power from the earth. It's
Free
electric that's
distribution of
up in the
power.
air. Yep.
Yep. That would have been the way
Free
to go.
energy transmission. Yep.
All right.
But until it was impractical, yep, we gotta wait.
What about favorite cars? Because we're about 22 minutes in now. What about some of your favorite cars? I guess we'll start. Well, I'll start this one. My favorite one, like my dream car of all times, and this is going way back in time, would have to be a 69 AMC AMX. That has always been my dream car. I would love to find one. I mean, they weren't much on horsepower. I think they only had like 300 or 320, something like that. But it's an oddball car. And I hate that AMC is like not around anymore. Or if they are, they're not producing. Well, of course, they're not producing cars like that anymore because, it's not 1969, but.
Oh, come on. Don't you want to get impaled by just all the knobs and everything else just on the steering wheels? Come on.
Absolutely.
Am I wrong about this, Mike, or does this look like the front end of a Camaro and the rear end of a Nova?
It does.
It does.
Okay,
It's a good analogy of that, actually.
It does.
Like I pulled it up and I was like, oh.
I don't know why I
Nova smashed into a Camaro.
always loved that car. I don't know why. Maybe it's the 390 that comes in it. The potential for power.
I mean, yeah.
Dual 4 barrels. I don't know.
The crazy part about that though is cars now are putting out more horsepower. Like, Miss Deuce's car, it's a little mid-size SUV, but it's got as much horsepower as my truck does.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Is yours
I've got a 308 in that thing, so it's like, or what's the Dodge engine?
340? Is it the Hemi?
It's the baby V8.
318.
318. It's got a 318 in it. It's like, and she's got more horsepower than I do. She's got a 6-cylinder. It's like, what the?
God.
Get my horsepower back. I just want my truck to be powerful. But yeah, I don't know.
So, I mean, I'll have to find an image to throw up in editing, but that is like my dream car. I would love to find one for the right price. But all the ones around here are rusted out, and that's too much body work that I don't want to deal with.
What color would you want, though?
It doesn't matter the color. I can always paint it.
Well, they came out with the factory orange, factory red, factory blue, white, bronze, and there was one that had pinstriping on it, but I can't remember
Which
what
color
that
looks
one was.
best going fast?
I would say the red.
Orange, baby.
Nah, the red, baby. Yeah.
And
So
you'll
look
see
at take it.
You'll
Sorry,
see
Bo, go
red and blue behind you.
You
Yeah.
see the other color of the cars behind you flashing.
It's
So
okay.
take a second look at the rear end of this thing. It looks more like a fastback than it does a
yeah.
Nova.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does look like the Ford Mustang Fastback with the way that trapezoid rear window
Mhm.
is.
I gotta tell
I'm
you
not
though,
even looking at a picture. I just like the car,
like
so I know exactly
I've
what it looks
seen
like.
these. I just didn't realize what they were. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
thought they were one of those hybrid things that somebody built. I had no idea. Like this is a really good. The body lines on this thing look good.
They're
man.
clean.
Yeah.
They are very clean. Yep.
Yep. Should have been in Vanishing Point.
So since I
Ooh.
started with Gargoyle first last time and Bone, or Gargoyle first, yeah, Gargoyle first and Bone last. What about you, Bone?
Dream car?
Yeah.
My dream car, and I have driven one of these, is the Ford GT,
Ooh.
Which year?
Yes, sir.
the new one.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I drove one too.
My company makes some parts for it. And when you sit behind a car that has 700 horsepower
Mhm.
and it's a V6, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's been pumped up. But to me, it kind of looks like they took a lot of the design from like Lotus, that type of stuff.
Well, Lotus
But they
was Ford
still
too.
have that older, the Ford GT look, the
Well, it's
early
aerodynamic.
80s racing, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's aerodynamic.
Yeah.
That's why the body style hasn't changed. You don't
Mhm.
need to change something that works.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
I will say the one I drove was a V8, so it was the older.
Yep.
The GT40.
Mm-hmm.
That thing's sexy.
It
I'm just
is.
saying.
Yeah.
The Ford GT40 is sexy, man.
I mean, the car
Oh.
that I drove, how we were able to get our hands on one of these is unknown to begin with. These cars sell from the dealership for $1 million.
Millions if you want to catch them as a collector's.
And you are not allowed to resell the vehicle for 1 year. You
Mhm.
have to sign a contract. You are not allowed to sell the vehicle for
Mhm.
1 year. It is yours. So you better, you better have the money for one, and you better, want to do something with it. But yeah, it is just a phenomenal car. I mean, they make it all the way up to a V12 too.
Mhm.
Now the one that I drove was just the V6. And the V12, I can't even imagine. I've driven a car that was a V12 before, and I mean, a feather lands on the gas pedal and you're doing 60 miles an hour. Yeah. I
That-
mean, it's just, I drove it around the block and it was I've never driven anything that handled so smooth and yet was so fast. It was just amazing. And just to have one of those, I would, if I had one of those, I wouldn't drive it. I mean, I live on a dirt road. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. And Michigan roads, they're not known for being the best roads. So, just like most roads probably are. This is something that you'd have to. I would love to take it into Europe and just put it on the autobahn.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've driven on the autobahn before on other cars. I've driven Porsches on the autobahn, Ferraris over there, tons of Mercedes and BMWs, and when you're doing 180, 200 miles an hour, you think that's fast. Well, this car does that easily. So
That's nutty.
it is. And I don't know why people buy them, but they do. I don't know what they do with them.
They sit in a garage most of the time.
I mean,
They put them in a box trailer and take them to the car show and show 'em
Mhm.
off.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I
They're
can't
showcasers,
imagine if you just got into a little fender bender with this thing.
Oh, geez.
It
Ooh.
probably cost you, $200,000, $300,000 just to get
Replace
something
a
done.
headlight.
And the body that they make different body materials for it also. Um, So that is something. I mean, there's a pure carbon fiber body that you can get. You can get your traditional steel, which is mostly a lot of aluminum too. But I mean, even the wheels, the rims on the for the wheels, they're carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the wheel, I'm sorry, the rim. The rim weighs 2 pounds. A complete rim weighs 2 pounds.
That's even more nutty.
I know that's nothing. 2 pounds, and that's one rim.
Imagine how that's going to stand up to a good old Michigan pothole.
And I mean, they have everything is custom on this on the design. I mean, the brakes are the carbon ceramic brakes, and they're all ventilated and everything because they get so hot, when they have to work. But I mean, the thing does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. That's fast.
They'll suck you back in the seat.
A little bit.
0 to 100 in 6 seconds. 0 to 170 in 20 seconds.
That's if you can keep up with the shifting.
Yeah.
It's got a 7-speed manual. It just they're paddle control. So it's just, I mean, I would love to have that car. Just so, and again, it would never go anywhere. It would just be, I would just stare at it all day long, probably.
And you'd be fine with that.
And I would start it up every now and then, but I would be almost afraid to like move it out of the garage to clean the garage and move it back.
Mm-hmm.
I would be afraid to do it. But yeah, no, I mean that's mine. It is it's a pipe dream.
Oh yeah.
Car though. I don't think I'll ever hit $1 million or anything like that. Just even go put my name on the list to say yes, I want one.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, there's a waiting list for these cars.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there is.
Wonder how many of those are the Bitcoin millionaires.
Jeez.
Probably a lot.
Probably.
Speaking of supercar type cars, I had a friend that had a Dodge Viper, and that's one of those that you touch the gas pedal and you're going 100 before you know it.
Yep, I've driven that car too.
And this one didn't have traction control or anything like that. You want to talk about scary?
Yep.
Yeah, the company I worked for, we when the Viper first came out, we had to help redesign the rear sway bar because the car would. I mean, you hit the gas and the frame itself could
twist
bend.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would twist out. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how much torque and horsepower the thing was grabbing and going. So yeah.
What about you, Deuce? What's your favorite vehicle or your dream car?
So favorite vehicle I've owned or just both in general?
Oh, you can do.
I can do them both briefly if you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So the favorite car I've ever owned was probably the '86 Toyota pickup I had. It's long wheelbase, single cab, 4-cylinder, had the SR4 motor in it, which is basically indestructible. They should put that in rockets if they want to, reusability. Thing was awesome, man. I love that truck. It rode like a dump truck. All right, let me rephrase. Dump truck probably rode smoother. It probably rode like a, what do we used to say? It was like a wagon with steel wheels is what it felt like, right? And they're old trucks, horrible suspension, but they're small trucks, but probably my favorite vehicle ever.
They're a radio flyer with the motor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, they're a radio flyer with a motor. Yeah.
But I love the truck, man. Indestructible. It really was.
Did you have the 4x4 with the roll bar and everything on the back, or?
Nope, no roll bar. Just had a toolbox. And it was a 4-wheel drive, but it just had the toolbox on it. Not an extended cab, just a regular cab, but it was a long wheelbase. And the cool thing about this '86 was that it wasn't a manual; it was an automatic.
Oh.
So it was one of the limited editions that came out.
Oh wow!
So that's rare back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I got it in
manual. Yep.
I got it in '99, and it had 90,000 miles on it.
Was that a 4-speed automatic, right?
It was a 4-speed automatic. Yeah.
Yep.
I had to think
Okay.
about that for a minute. 4-speed automatic. Yeah, with the SR4 engine, long wheelbase truck. So it was a long wheelbase automatic, which you really didn't see
No.
in
Didn't
those
have
trucks.
overdrive back then.
That one did. It had overdrive.
So
Well, it was called a
it was-
towing package. Wasn't
Yeah,
called
okay,
overdrive.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's different.
Yep. So you basically killed the overdrive and just left it in 3-speed. Basically, is all you did.
Yep.
So instead of giving you an extra gear, it just took the top one away. So
Yep.
took the overdrive away. But yeah, great truck, man. I loved it. Love that truck. I really did. I want it back. My dream car though would be something that you probably wouldn't expect, because I don't want, if I had millions of dollars, I can't see myself going out and buying like a McLaren or a Lamborghini, or I mean, I just don't want one of those. I don't want one. While they're beautiful cars, I respect people that have earned their way of getting one. You know what I mean? Like, completely understand. I get it. I just couldn't see myself owning one. I would probably have a brand new, not jacked up or anything, just nothing, nothing extra done to it. Just a brand new Dodge 4-door pickup, 4-wheel drive. Probably what I would want for a pickup, but for a car, since we're going sports car styles, I want a DeLorean. If I had the money to buy a DeLorean right now, I would go buy one.
They're getting rare.
Yeah.
Yep, I want a DeLorean. That's my dream car, man, and it's only because not because they're great cars, they ride good or they're fast. Or I know it'll do 88 miles an hour. So,
You
it's
gotta have a
strictly
flux capacitor for that, man.
right. It's strictly because
And
of
you
Back
gotta
to the
go-
Future.
You got to go downhill.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not because of comfort or
Yeah.
because of style or because anything else. It's literally for nostalgia. That's it. Because when I saw Back to the Future, I was still a kid, and seeing that this aluminum car pull up with, it's just aluminum. There's no paint on it.
Stainless.
It's stainless.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Stainless? Yeah.
just
Stainless.
stainless. Yeah, just seeing the stainless car pull up with no paint. All this stuff on it, and it's going to the future. It blew my mind. And since I was a kid, I just thought to myself, man, it'd be really cool to own a stainless car, own a DeLorean. So I mean, that's what I've always wanted, is DeLorean. So
Now, they did have a couple variations of that. They had one that was gold plated also, and I believe
Yeah,
it's
that
in a
didn't-
museum.
I don't like it though. It didn't look good. Didn't
But
look
it-
as good.
but
It's my
I mean,
favorite
if when you-
color. I'm with you, Deuce. I like that stainless look on it. I really did. But I don't think it was cold rolled, was it? It was. I don't think it was a
I don't
306
think it was cold rolled
or
steel.
anything. Yeah, so I mean, it's going to rust out pretty quick, and
It
especially in
does.
salted areas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, that's one thing about Cybertruck. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be rust proof and everything else. Like, yeah, sure, okay, we'll see what it looks like after 15 years. Next, if you're living in the ocean or if you're driving on Canadian roads 8 months of the year with salt all over it.
Well, I can tell you this, with automotive platings have to withstand a minimum of 20 years. And that is not, that's cosmetic and salt spray.
I can tell you, two manufacturers got that wrong. Dodge and Chevrolet.
This is something that has happened within the last, I want to say 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
But
So
it
all
still
your-
has to put up with all the road rash and everything else that happens onto it, and that does strip out the protections and stuff too, right? So anything near the wheel wells,
that's going to be on body and not on frame.
not on frame. Exactly. Yep.
So the body, yes, the body can give. Frame, safety components, suspension, all that has to withstand 20 years or more. I mean, you look at your newer type of vehicles, and you look at the frame and you look at the other thing, you'll still see, a nice coating of protection on the metal.
I can tell you this though, like Mike was saying there, anything I've seen a 2016 Dodge Ram here in Canada, she's rusting right out already. She's got more rust on it than I got on my 2001 Dodge.
Right. You're talking body though, right?
That's right, body.
Yep. Yeah, the body can give. That
Yeah.
The body is not held at the same maximums.
But the chassis has to
Yeah.
hold up though. Yeah.
The body has very minimal protection on it. You can pay to get extra protection put on it, but the most of the body is everything is it's called e-coat, which is electrostatic coating. Basically, it's it is electronically charged and paint goes over to it and electronically sticks to it.
Yep.
It's very, very thin. So everything comes out black. And then, because it's also uses the primer, then whatever color they're going to paint it gets put on top of that, and then the clear coat. That's all. Most of your body stuff is only going to withstand about 1,000 hours in salt. That's it. After that, yeah, it's going to eat right through.
Yep, most definitely.
Right, so that leaves Deuce is done. That leaves Gargoyle.
I have a toss-up between two, and they're both the same year, but they're both modified vehicles, and that's the Shelby Cobra and the 67 Shelby Cobra, the Roadster,
Mm-hmm.
and the 67 GT500 Eleanor.
Oh, yeah.
Those two cars, I mean, I would love to have the Cobra for our limited summer driving through the mountains, have a wide open top, look at everywhere. But in the winter and everything else, I wouldn't mind having some studded tires on a GT500. Now, in a perfect dream world for me, I would love to get some kits, an electric skateboard, and then put carbon body on that frame, and just have a kit. I mean, OEM's beautiful and everything, but in the long run, if I'm driving through the mountains, I don't want to hear "bah" coming off the sides of the mountains beside me. I want to just basically hear the wind whipping through, my hair as I'm going down, just loving the sunshine. If it starts to rain, you throw up the real ratty type style, cloth to go over top of you. It won't protect you during a hailstorm, but it'll get you through the rain. I would love to have that. And actually, that's one of the cars that I would love to build with my son. I want his first car to be a kit car that we put together.
So you
So that
want
way,
a cubic zirconia car.
pretty much. Yep. And I'm proud of it too. Like if I could get a whole carbon fiber body for it so it can last a super long time, it still has the good crumple zones from the skate frame, I would be all over that for sure. That would be something me and my son could sit down and just work on for, 2 or 3 years before he gets his license, and he can have the car when it's done, and, he'll have pride of ownership in it because, he built it with me.
Yeah, but if you had an original Eleanor's,
That thing is in a bloody museum.
I know, but if you had an original Eleanor, you would say no to that? You'd want a kit car instead?
Honestly, if I were to be, here you go, here's an electric kit car versus a gas-powered car over here, I would take the electric any day.
It's Eleanor.
Yeah, I know.
You would
Still,
say no to Eleanor.
yeah.
Wow.
I know, crazy, isn't it?
I
But for
don't.
me, practicality.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
No,
I would never.
I would never.
No.
Never. You're a better man than I, sir. Never.
Yeah. Couldn't do it.
Nope.
In a heartbeat, I would take the electric any day. Not because, I know Eleanor's going to go faster. Don't care. I like pep. I like being able to get 0 to whatever the speed limit is real fast. That way I'm not the guy who's holding everybody up at the line, at the
I
lights.
think Eleanor could do that.
Oh, yeah, Eleanor could do that, but she'd be awfully loud doing it. And, it might have a lot to do with my sound sensitivity in that. I mean, after jumping in a couple of Teslas and driving those around, wow, the pep on those things is amazing. I mean, I cannot wait to see what their newest Roadster is going to have, as well as their, what is it now, the S Plaid Plus or something like that?
They got
The new packages.
Tesla has a bunch of different vehicles coming out. I can't talk to them about it. I can't talk about it now.
Yeah, and it's just going to be absolutely redonkulous. Like for their get up and go. Now, once again, they're not going to reach your 300 mile an hour. But safety wise, I don't want to be driving at 300 miles an hour. Up here in Canada, you can have a deer, a coyote, an elk, a moose, anything come up on the road. If you're doing 300 mile an hour, you ain't going to stop fast enough before that vehicle is sheared off with underneath the belly of a moose.
So I'll just say this: Miss Deuce used to have a Hyundai, and she hit a cow, not even a coyote. It was like a fox going about 65, and it destroyed the front of her car. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think speeds like that's reserved for the autobahn or the racetrack. Honestly, like
Totally agree.
I don't. I'm not saying that cars should be limited to only go 75. Right? I think people should be responsible with them, but that's personal responsibility at that point. I don't think they should be limited by any means. But at the same time, I don't see the point in owning something that goes 300 miles an hour either. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't see the point in it. Like for me personally, I don't see the
Mhm.
point.
And they'd both have to be that what do they call it? Not charcoal gray. It's gray. It's almost a silver color, and I can't remember the exact color of what it's called, but it's the same color that they used in that Nicolas Cage movie.
The pewter.
Pewter. That's it. Yep.
Yep.
Pewter gray. Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful silver on both of those vehicles. I have never seen one on a Shelby Cobra. I've always seen the classic blue, the classic whites, all that type of stuff, but I've never seen the pewter gray on a Shelby Cobra, and I think that would be amazing. You know, the front scoop and everything that they have on those roadsters, I think would just match up with what Eldenor looks like with its front scoop and racing stripes.
Chevy's the only manufacturer that I've known that has used the pewter color before.
Besides the GT500?
Yep.
Gone in 60 Seconds. That was the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chevy had stock
Chevy-
vehicles. Yeah.
Yep. Chevy
pewter
had
color.
stock vehicles with pewter. That's the only manufacturer that I know that has ever done the pewter. Because I own a vehicle that was pewter.
Oh,
Dodge
nice.
did. Dodge
Did
did
it?
on some of their sedans in the 90s, I'm pretty sure. I think my mom actually had, so funny,
Was
my
it
dad,
pewter?
it was pewter. It was a
Okay.
Dodge Intrepid. And it was like
Okay.
a 92 model. My dad traded a Yanmar 1510 for it.
I don't see any modern vehicles.
No, not now, but I mean then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember some. Yeah, modern vehicles, no. Chevy
Yeah,
pewter.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I mean, because
Yep.
it's a nice color.
It
It
is.
really is. It looks good.
Yeah, my 2001 Dodge Dakota is a base silver, but it's not the silver that I want. I want that, like you say, that pewter look. It has a bit of a sheen to it, but at the same time, it gives you enough darkness to have depth. So any of the body contours and stuff, you can really see that. My Dodge, you look at it, and from a distance, it just looks like a flat silver. And then you get up close, and then you realize, oh, this isn't one of the newer vehicles. It's got the rounded humps. It's not squared up. But if it was done in that pewter, you'd be able to tell from a different distance, every contour of the body. And I love that look on vehicles. Yeah. Those are my two. But like I said, I have caveats on that because, with electric vehicles, just, being able to hear, all you're hearing is just road noise from the tires and the wind whistling through. That's one bad thing about Tesla. The wind whistle is really bad. In the, 2015, I think was the old vehicle. And yeah, unbelievable amount of whistle coming off that top glass. It was crazy.
Okay. Well,
Other than that, though, there was no road noise, or there was no engine noise, just road noise. Loved it.
I think that's a good place to end this one off. We've been going for about 48 minutes, so
Sounds good to me.
remember, everybody watching, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to check out our individual channels. Got GaminGargoyle, DeuceMS, Bone 13, and myself, AO Mike 83. Links should be in the description. Thanks for watching. Peace out, y'all.
See ya.
Later.
Later, everybody.